So there's been a lot of leaking from the DOJ recently, but somehow the Justice Department has not leaked anything really about Jeffrey Epstein, including his client list. Why is that? Well, Elon Musk, a big picture man if there ever was one, asked that question recently. Quote, "The only thing more remarkable than DOJ not leaking the list is that no one in the media cares," he wrote. Well, that's true. And while we're on the topic of Epstein, why did Bruce Reinhart, the magistrate judge who approved the Mar-a-Lago raid, represent several of Jeffrey Epstein's employees, including his pilot and his schedule? Weird. Bobby Capucci is a podcast host who is doggedly following this story. He joins us tonight. Bobby, thanks so much for coming on. So you follow this full-time, one of the few who does. Why haven't we gotten any of this information in the form of leaks to the New York Times, do you think?
Well, in my opinion, it has to do with how far it goes. This is such a gigantic in scope operation that he was running that if they really dug deep, that it would be almost earth-shattering what they would discover. If you take a look at some of the similar cases in New York at a similar time for similar crimes, R. Kelly or Keith Raniere, both were hit with RICO charges, but Epstein, Maxwell, no RICO there? I wonder why.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, they grabbed some Alex Jones's texts the other day, and the line is that Alex Jones is the real criminal, not Jeffrey Epstein, right? But the second they got his texts, you know everything. Everything embarrassing thing he's ever said, of course, is going to be in the New York Times. But they are affirmatively protecting Jeffrey Epstein, who's not even alive anymore. It's just one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
It's been going on all the way since the Vanity Fair article back in 2002, the puff piece on Jeffrey Epstein back then. You know, Maria Farmer outed this guy in 1995, 1996. Nobody followed up on it. Nobody ever pursued him the way they should have. And it was all happening right under the nose of the SDNY, who loves to get on their ivory tower and preach down to the rest of us on a regular basis about how bad we live our lives. Meanwhile, this guy was running around in their district for 4 presidencies, hanging out at the White House, you know, they're all of it, and nobody cares what's going on until the survivors themselves decide to go and take the case to the people. And we see what's happened since then. There's been an avalanche effect, and they've had to react to it.
Really quick, you keep reading suggestions that there's a trove of videotape of other people at Epstein's properties. Do you think that's true?
Well, what I can tell you is all of the survivors who had access to his townhouse, all of them that had access to Palm Beach, they all said that there were surveillance rooms in those houses set up for that specific purpose, to take video of everybody who came in and to document it. So we're talking about the people that actually lived through this telling us that, and nobody cares. We have, I mean, when the Daily Mail is leading the charge to go after somebody like Prince Andrew and not the Gray Lady or the Washington Post, that tells you everything you need to know about where the legacy media is at.
Well, that's exactly right. And of course, he was connected to various intelligence agencies, which might be the real answer. Bobby, I appreciate your staying on this story when few others are. Thanks a lot.
Vous n'avez pas entendu parler du Facteur?
Les nouvelles du Facteur